They don't understand. Casting judgment. I just stand on loyalty. I'm keeping it 100. And that will never change. You can hate it or you love it.
All right, y'all. What's up? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. Today, I finally have my first, R&B singer guest, my boy Anthony. Tell him what's up, Anthony.
What's up? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
And well, I know him as Anthony, but y'all may know him as Karowlina. I've been seeing him putting in his work with his music lately, and we're gonna get into all of that. So you have anything to say before we start the questions?
No, I'm just glad that you gave me a platform. Like I've been waiting on this for all my life. Like I've been waiting for a platform to kind of, share who I am, share, my music and what I do. Before, but I just want to say thank you. I know this was a bit of a schedule trying to get everything together, but I was down to do it. I had to do it.
Mm-hmm. So this is like your first time like ever being interviewed?
It's not my first time being interviewed. I was interviewed for, Rowan Television Network, which is cool. And I was not ready for them questions. I didn't think this was a real interview. Like, but it was really a real But yeah, this will be my second one. I haven't been on a podcast.
Oh, well, my podcast ain't like, too much like others. I'm very laid back.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
really, I guess you could say like, I don't know. I'm asking you about your career, but like I'm very laid back. Like you can just say whatever you want on here.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
formal. I like that.
Yeah, and well, they don't know, but like ever since I started this podcast, I've been saying like even when you came to my graduation party, I was like, bro, I gotta get you on here. We gotta link.
Yeah. Listen, I'm so glad that you even wanted to reach out. Like I said, I'm just grateful I got the platform, and it's even better with somebody that I'm friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually know you.
Yeah, and you know what? I also wanted you on here. Like besides that, we're friends, and I like to put I like to give my friends a platform or whatever. But I'm glad because like I said when I introduced you, like you are the first R&B singer that I have on here, and I ain't gonna lie, like I like interviewing rappers and stuff like that, but I'm more of an R&B guy. Like R&B is my favorite genre. I know me and you talked about that a lot, so like I kind of want to get your story and like, how you feel about R&B nowadays. So
Yeah, listen, I'm down. I'm down. I'm definitely down to talk about it. I love R&B.
mhm. So all right, the first thing that I like to talk about when I have a guest on is I like to talk about how we first met. So do you want to tell the story or you want me to tell it?
Actually, I think I do remember the story. I think I remember the story. I think maybe I'll tell the story how I remember, and you can like tell me your version because I think I
Mhm.
remember. Right,
Okay.
but definitely it definitely was a film project that me and Al was doing, if I remember.
Yep.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it at my friend Tev's, apartment." I think we had the same project, but we were in different classes. I don't think we were in the same class, but we had the same project. Or maybe we were in the same class. I don't know. But we were doing the same project.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he had set it up. And then I met you at the apartment complex, and we all just hit it off because it was just funny. Like we was out here doing this film project. I think it was like a PSA or something, if I can remember. I don't even remember what it was. Wasn't it like his was like something drug related?
Yeah, it was like a PSA, and like I think I was like your college roommate or whatever, and I gave you like some drugs because you were like trying to study for exams. Yo, no, what killed me is after you took the drugs and you were like, and we were like he said, we were filming this in my apartment at the time. And
Yeah.
like you were sitting there next to the toilet laying down, pretending to throw up. And I walked in the room and I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yo, I was, I remember most about that. was that I was laying, that it was a tight space.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there like, God, I hope I don't break my neck. Or like when I lay my head down, I go, pow. But I was like, bro, I am not. We trying to get the perfect take. It's because we can keep doing this over and over again.
Yeah, we had to keep doing it over because my girlfriend at the time wouldn't stop laughing every time she heard me.
Man, it looked like really looked like it kind of looked like it was a PSA, but felt like a show. The way
Yeah,
that was like felt like a series.
bruh. Yo, I know Al don't like presenting like his work like that, but if he has it somewhere, I gotta put it somewhere like on my YouTube or maybe at the end of this episode so like people
Yeah.
know what we talking about. Cause
Man, listen, we was trying to do anything to get through that class. That was a good. I don't even remember what the class was. I can't tell you what the class was. I want to say it was it may have been foundations.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't tell you what the project was. It
I
was a
know when
PS.
I transferred to Rowan, I had to do like a PSA type video for one of my classes. It might have been foundations.
It probably was foundation.
Oh, I gotta send you my PSA video. That's like Al's favorite video for me. The whole crazy thing is it had to be like a team assignment, and
Yeah,
like we were all assigned different roles for that assignment. And
yeah.
like my other like the people on my team they weren't like film majors at all, so like they were just doing anything with it, and our video wound up being so horrible. Like the only reason we wound up being a good grade, like the only reason we wound up getting a good grade is because like I edited it like
I was gonna
very
say,
well.
I was really about to say editing because ain't no way. Ain't no,
Yeah, that thing was trash. Like I have it on my YouTube, so I'm gonna send you the link after this. But yeah, that thing was trash.
that. Listen, them PSAs. I don't even know what my PSA was about. You remember what mine was about? Did you see it?
I only remember filming Owls with you. I don't think I saw yours.
Because I know you were in mine or I was in mine. I think you were in it, but I didn't. You know, see that goes to show I didn't do it right because I didn't plan. There was no pre-production. I went in that thing like, yo, this is what my PSA. I can't even tell you what it was about. I still have it though. I still have it, but
See,
I can't.
I don't even fault you for that because one thing college I learned, you learn how to bullshit. Like even if you go in with no plan, you just learn how to bullshit.
Finesse. My finesse strong. It was strong. But eventually I started caring. Like I think it was also hard because it was like the pandemic. We were still getting through the pandemic a little bit. So everything
Mm-hmm.
was virtual mostly. That's when we had just started going back in person, I believe.
Yeah.
So it was just a weird time. It was a weird time. But we made it work. We
Oh
made it
yeah,
work.
we made it work. I see, like I said, I gotta hit up Al, see if I can add that to the end of the episode. I gotta get his okay because I know he particular about what type of work he put out.
As he should. Al gonna be like, hey,
Mhm.
listen, I ain't gonna clear this. This is not.
Like I hit up Al like, hey, can I add that PSA? He'll hit me back like hell no.
That's no. That's no. But it was funny. It was funny. I don't even remember what I looked like. Probably had like a
Yeah, you
going,
did.
fro action going. Man,
I know he still got the bloopers because he sends me like randomly the one video. I don't know if you remember. It was like the one time I finally got the line right without laughing. I finally got the line right, and then my girlfriend at the time is like she starts laughing, and I'm like, "Will you shut up, please?" He always
like
send me that video all the time, so I know he got them bloopers.
yeah, no bloopers are always funny. I do remember. I know when we were doing that. The PSA.
Mhm.
Do you remember it was like a thing where you didn't want people walking by, or he didn't want people walking by in the shot or something like that? Because I know your girlfriend or you were doing something in the midst. So I
Mhm.
do remember there was some interruption, But I didn't know that it was like, I forgot that it was that she was laughing or something, and it was like an actual verbal interruption. Yeah, it was funny though. His PSA
Yeah.
was way more fun to shoot than mine, and it probably was better too.
See, I'm trying to remember because if I'm part of it, I don't remember it at all.
I want to say mine's was, I could sit here and try to think, but I'm not. I'm telling you right now, no, I don't remember what the PSA was. But that goes to let you know it was probably really trash. I'm sitting there thinking, what was that PS? What was it about? I remember like the graphics that I put on it, and that was trash. I remember the colors of the graphics was like a blue, orange, green. I don't know what I was doing. It looked like a sports graphic. I'm like, what was this PSA for? I think it had something. You know what it was? I think it had something to do. I think it was not too far. It wasn't too different off of what Al's PSA was, because I think mine was kind of inspired by his, but it wasn't exactly like his. It was something completely different. I can't tell you what it was. Yeah, no,
Well,
I'm
shoot, if you find it before I finish editing this, shoot, I can add that at the end too.
that thing was garbage. Garbage.
But besides that, like we, like we said, we worked on the PSAs, and then after that, like we really started becoming like more friends when me, you, Al, and Seth used to hang out, go to Philly,
Yeah.
stop at Giovanni's. We were just basically roasting Seth the whole time. But yeah,
That was this past summer. That's what was crazy.
yeah.
It wasn't even that long ago. But yeah, no, that I vaguely remember also. I think that's when, like, I knew when we went over your apartment to do the PSA. I remember that was when I got, you know, I remember you watching Euphoria on the. I was like, okay, so I like this guy. And then that's when I found out you said you do music, or Al said you did music. So okay, then I heard you rap. I was like, oh, he rap. All right, so this is naturally gonna be. This is just right.
Yeah. And then like also when we talked about like film stuff, you got some good film opinions too. So I'm like, all right, so like I can fuck with him like on some film and music stuff. So
Yeah, no, I be listen. I love, like, I'm a especially now, like I'm a music now. I'm a movie buff too and a film buff, but I'm like really a music buff because we've talked about me. We talk about him.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was the other night I was gonna bring up when we all went to the club, like I think around graduation time.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun.
that night was fun.
Oh, I got a story from that night.
Oh, what's the story?
Story from that night. So I remember we was in the club. That was in I want to say the name of that club was Voyeur.
I think so.
Voyeur, because it was Euphoria downstairs. It was a
Oh
lot of
that felt like a scene out of Euphoria for real.
drugs and seizure lights. Okay, going
And then motherfuckers literally having sex in the middle of the floor.
for it was all kinds of things going on. And then you go upstairs in this little tiny room. You got the black people, bunch of people of color. And then but what I remember, there's a couple of stories. I got a couple of stories for that night. How about, and I ain't gonna say nobody's name, because I don't know if they're
Well,
gonna
I
see
mean, this is the Hated or Loved podcast. If you would have put a name to it, you can.
and blast them out. But how about, I don't think he gonna mind. You know what I'm saying? So Chris, how you doing? I ran into my best friend's ex
Oh, I remember you said that.
at the party. And we like, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool, but what was crazy about it? Now I gotta be careful because I said the name. What was crazy about it was that I was just texting him, and then I saw her, and then she was like, "How's Chris? How's Chris?" And I'm like, "He's good." He's good. And then it was crazy. I was like, oh, go holler at that. You know, you should talk
Oh
to
yeah, yeah. I was like, yo, you should holler at that.
bro. This ain't the move. This ain't it. This ain't
Hey,
it.
now see, I ain't got no tie to Chris, so like when I saw her, I was like, oh, she a little cute now.
But you know what I'm saying, and I'm not saying this about her because this may come out. This is where the story is about to shift into the second story.
Okay.
Listen, them lights were an illusion. The lights off is a big illusion because you can be fine in the club, but when you get out the club, ooh,
Oh yeah. See, I know what you mean, and it wasn't even at a club. Like, I guess a quick side story, real quick. I remember one of my friends from my old school, George Mason. I ain't gonna say no names because he damn near got his own situation going on now. But like, I went with him to one of his parties and whatever. And I met this one girl at his party. And like you said, the lights was dim. It was like a Halloween party. And I was like, damn, this girl kind of cute. So I told him to give me like, her Instagram or something like that. The most he could give me was a Facebook at the time. So he gave me her Facebook. And when I saw her picture, I was like, this girl was at 10 in the dark and a 6 in the light. I'm like, I mean, I'll still talk to her, but damn, that was a big downgrade.
man, I tell you, them lights is an illusion, man. Them lights to cut them lights.
Yo.
I need to see you with flash. Okay.
Yeah, I should have did some slick stuff and been like accidentally turned on the light, accidentally take a picture of some or a Snapchat or something
let's
like
go,
that.
let's go outside real quick so I can see how you.
To say a lie real quick, like, oh, you want to take a smoke outside? I don't
Right.
even smoke. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, let's go back inside.
I just want to see you in natural lighting. I want to see you natural. Unless I just, you can make it up. I just think, everybody look better in natural light, just so you can kind of see, like, yo, this is what she looks like. This is what, But
Yeah.
yeah, I had it very just like the story you just told. Mind you, there was no social media. I didn't care to, kick up like that. But when we were in the club, we were dancing. Girl was dancing, and it was that night. It was dancing, and we was dancing. It was close to the end. They was actually playing Tevin Kim. Funny
Oh
enough,
yeah. Oh, I remember a girl was like singing to me when that song was playing. Like shit, and she was a cute one too. I should have got her number. But all right, I'm gonna let you finish the story.
No, there was this girl. We was just dancing, and it wasn't nothing crazy. She was just dancing. We was just dancing real close. And then I'm like, oh, she might be fine. You know what I'm saying? But I think nothing of it. We get out the club. We walk out. And I look at that girl and I'm like, oh my God, was that the same girl? First of all, she looked like an old lady.
Damn.
I thought her hair was just dyed white.
Damn.
Dyed white. Bro, that was her hair. I was like, oh my God. I don't think she was that old, but she was not as young as she looked in that club.
And she didn't look pretty in the face either.
Mm-mm. I was like,
Damn.
they was talking about. I was like, man, I gotta wear my glasses when I go into a club.
Yeah, like if you're gonna have white hair, at least look like the girl from Game of Thrones. You know the one I'm talking about?
Right. Or Storm.
Oh yeah, Storm. Yeah, you can look like them. Like damn.
That's more like, yeah, it is white. It's like platinum. It's like platinum, but still, yeah, no. Like some people can rock a white hair. Some I've seen it, but it's very few and far between. It's very few, man.
Yeah, but if you look good with white hair, then that's how you really know you bad. Like damn.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts because not everybody can rock that. That's the thing. Though. A lot of people like make a thing of like like because I've had conversations with some of the homies about like hair color or hairstyles. Listen, it don't matter to me. She can be bald. She just got to have the nice facial structure for it. Because not everybody got a nice facial structure.
See, You know, it's funny. I was literally talking about this with one of my friends, like hairstyles and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie, I got like a little preference in like hairstyle. Like I'm a sucker for girls with like big curly hair. But the
Yeah,
funny thing is, every girl I dated, every girl I talked to never did that. So it's like, and then even things that I said I would never do, things I said I would never do. Like I always said I would never like try to talk to a girl with like short hair that got a fade and all that. Cause I'm like, I ain't trying to date no girl with a better fade than me. But sometimes those black girls, they be having like the, and I'll be like, damn,
yeah.
they really look good with it. And I said I would never date a bald girl. I follow this one girl on Instagram who is bald and she is bad as hell. So
Telling you,
like I don't know, man. I'm someone where I could say I don't want something, but then if it's on the right person, then
it works. I do. I'll be honest and say that I find myself, and it's weird. The reason why I'm saying it's weird is because I obviously have long hair,
mhm.
so I often find myself attracted to girls with like big fros, big curly hair. But like fros is like it's my kryptonite. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
that's your weakness.
I love the fro, and my friend was like, so basically, he's saying you like girls their hair looks like yours. And then I had to wait, and then I was like, oh my god.
Damn, I would have never thought that. But that's true, yo, because I for the longest I've seen you with a fro. This is probably like the first time I've seen you with something different.
Yeah, well, these days my hair's it's growing. I need to be taken out, but my hair is it's long. It's long. That's an interesting conversation too. Uh,
Well, ladies, you just heard it here first, exclusive. If you have afros, hit him up on Instagram.
listen, I'm telling you, I'm a
Link
sucker.
in the bio.
I am. It's crazy. And then like when I take my hair out,
Mhm.
it's like it's a twist out. So it's the curl is I naturally have pretty curly hair, but it's a bit of a looser curl when I take the twist out because it's a twist out. So everybody wants to put their hands in my hair. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
feel I feel like when you have like a lot of hair as a black person, that's something that you're always gonna want to hear. Hey, or not that you want to hear, but that's something you're always gonna hear. Like, oh, can I touch your hair or something like that? And I'm just like,
Oh,
why?
it's crazy. People are obsessed. Like I've there are people that are invested in my hair. It is crazy. I'm like I thought about cutting it off, but I'm growing it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So growing it for me, like I'm not really tripping on it, but it's gotten crazy. And I mean, it was like I said, as a black person, growing up, you know what I'm saying. Even if you have the natural like, I had the Don King going on, or like the no, I didn't have like the Gumby. I didn't have the Gumby like Bobby Brown, but I had like the '90s fro, almost like a box.
Okay, I was about to say, I hope he didn't have the stepping stool like Tupac did in Juice.
Honestly, though, I've had a lot of hairstyles. I've had a lot of hairstyles within the last, I don't know, almost 10 years, nine years. I've went through a lot of hairstyles, but my hair's never really been this long. And so, but
True.
when I'm talking to people and I'm like I'm talking about girls' hairs. It's like I'm always thinking about like fro, curly hair. Like I'm obsessed. And then someone's like, so basically, you're saying you want a girl's hair to look like yours. And I'm like, dog. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
kind of
a little
fucked you
different.
up.
Yeah, it did. But it's true. I'll own it because the other day I did see a girl that had some really nice her hair. Obviously, was more curly than mine, but we was twinning a little bit. We was twinning a little bit, but I didn't care. I did not care. She had this little bob going. She had a little bob action, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Whoo!" And them curls was like thick. I'm like, ooh, I'd play in her hair if that was our vibe, but
He said I play in her hair.
I'd play in her hair if that was our vibe. But you know what I'm saying? I do be thinking about that sometimes. Like, what like those moments, those simple moments, because you have those simple moments, like when you talk to somebody, like, would it be? But I'd be able to, like, because I naturally, like, I don't like people touching my hair or like, but unless I'm paying you for it. But like when I'm when you with somebody, that's just natural. Like you do stuff like that, like braid my hair, like or
Oh nah. See, like if I'm dating somebody, because I still like my hair the way it is. Like I like, when I pick it and whatever, and I pick it a certain way. So like every time I'm with somebody, I'm like, nah, you gotta do it exactly the way that I do it. And they can never do it exactly the way I want it. So I'm like, you know what? Don't touch my hair. Like
yeah,
unless
right.
unless we not about to go somewhere, then just don't touch it. Like
Yeah. Right. I get it. I get it. It's worse when strangers try it though. At least
oh
one thing
no.
I had that the other week. That was crazy.
Like
That was
you were just out somewhere, like some random person wanted to touch your hair.
I was at my job.
Oh my
And
god, not the job.
I was at my job. I had to twist out. So like I said, the hair is very like the curl is a little bit looser.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy. It's bouncy, so it's easy. Like it, you know what people say I look like with the hair out? I look like there's a couple people that they say I look like. One is the bruh from High School Musical.
Not Corbin Blue. Come on now.
Hair, the fro looks like it looks when I take it out, it looks like that.
You over here saying you look like Corbin Blue. Oh hell no.
I ain't saying that I look like Corbin Blue.
Oh,
I'm
okay. It's just the fro was like his.
hairstyle. It's like I know I look like no Corbin Blue, man. But no, it's the fro looks like it looks just like that. But another person, now this person I actually look like is really scary. And I dress like him for Halloween. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Encanto.
Are you talking about the little boy?
Oh yeah, it's scary. When I take my
Wait,
hair out,
what's the name of him? What's his name?
Antonio. It's funny. His name is my name in Spanish.
Antonio.
It's a lot of parallels between Antonio and me. Like we got the same name. His gift was to be able to talk to animals at that age. I used to love talking to him. Like that was me.
I can kind of see it.
Crazy. If you go on my IG page, I got the Halloween picture
Hey,
on my page.
what y'all? Oh well, okay, it's kind of bright, but like, yeah,
You gotta go,
y'all know Encanto. Like, look it up.
go to my IG page and you will see. I got the side by side picture. You will see that it's and same complexion, same everything. I'm like, wow. I was like, this is crazy, but yeah, that's what
Oh
it
yeah,
looked.
that is crazy. I see it now. Yeah, yeah, I see it. I see it.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. But basically, what happened? This girl who I don't know, just put her hands on her hair. I love your hair. And unfortunately, she was black. She was our people.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to ask, like, was she
But
white?
it was even worse, which is crazy because usually when a black person know not to do that, like if that's somebody that you know, it's like, oh, okay, they ask and then they do it. This girl, she just, she just putting she's I like your hair, but her hands are already in my hair. And I'm thinking when her hands were in my hair before she even said anything. So I'm like, whose hands are in my hair? I look up. I'm like, yo, do I know? She just, I like your hair. And she's like, this. I'm like, that was the one day that I wish I had lice. That was the that was the one day I wish my hair was dirty because I was like, that's crazy. You violating. You
Yeah,
violated.
don't go people, don't go around touching random people's hair.
That's out of you are in violation. Because your hand should not be that far in my scalp like that. Like you're not even doing my hair. So why is your hand? I was like, this is crazy. I was like, man, it's like, and then she apologized after she had already did it. I was like, so you knew what you was doing was out of. I'm like, I couldn't even believe it. I was sitting there like, oh, hey, yo.
And like she just did it unprovoked too. Just like you just went in.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it, sort of, but it's like, man, like it's like I ain't even gonna compare it to that. That was good. I was gonna compare it to. I was gonna compare it to like people going to a dog and petting it, and you don't know whose dog. That's not your dog.
Oh yeah, nah. You don't go up to just a random dog, especially since I've seen too many aggressive dogs. Like I ain't just gonna go up to no random dog. That motherfucker might bite you out of nowhere.
You know what I'm saying? That dog may have like anxiety. So why is he probably, or she's probably already scared to be walking like that. It probably took a lot of time for the owner to get the dog comfortable to just go on walks. And you just going to touch the dog. And then you want to blame the dog when it bites your ass.
Oh, you need to get him trained. Like, no, you shouldn't have touched him in the first place.
Sometimes if you look at the dog, there's signs on the dog that say this dog has anxiety or I'm scared. So that means, or service dog. Like if it's a service dog, I don't even got a dog. I don't even know why I'm trying to do a dog. I'm giving y'all pointers on something that I don't have experience with.
Oh no, but I do be seeing people do like weird things like that. Like when I was at George Mason, so like we was the first university, or at least this is what George Mason claims. I don't know how true it is, but like we were like the first university that had like delivery robots. So like you could deliver food on campus and they're like robots just rolling around campus and it'll bring you your food to your dorm. And like I remember when they first started going around campus, I think it was like the second semester of my sophomore year, like people was treating the robots like it was dogs. Like I would see like girls running up to it, like, oh, it's so cute. And like they'll be rubbing it. And I'm like, it's a damn robot. Like, what are you doing? They like sit there and like rub it like it's a pet or something. And I'm like, oh. And then the funny thing is the robots can like talk to you. So like if you're messing with it, like if you're in its way, it'll be like, can you move out of the way, please? Like so like the whole time she's rubbing it, all I hear is, can you move out of the way, please?
I'm gonna say that the next time somebody put their hands in my head.
Can you move out of the way, please?
No, that's crazy. Even the robot don't want you to touch you. Like, stop touching stuff, man. Like,
yeah. The Mason robots, yeah, that's probably one of the things I miss about Mason, them robots.
Giving you food, that is different though. That is different, you know. That's different. Like that's interesting that y'all had robots that was giving y'all food.
But that's the thing that killed people about Mason. They don't fix they don't fix like that, like some of the housing was like really old looking, like they didn't update housing, they didn't fix parking, like there's so many issues on campus that they haven't fixed. But hey, we can talk about the delivery robots though.
That's wild. That happens a lot. Like, where's y'all money going into robots? That's crazy.
And then we know the problems that Rowan has, but they over here building like fake dinosaur eggs and shit. From what I heard, like, come on, man.
Rowan is special. Rowan is special. It is it is special.
If y'all went to Rowan University, you know what we talking about. Like, and the crazy thing is, I spent most of my college career at Mason. I only spent like a year and a half at Rowan, and I've already seen like, all right, this school really has so many problems in just 1 year and a half.
It has and it does. And it does. I think with Rowan all the time, and this might be even true now, like there's a lot of like they're always building new stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like something's always under construction, something's always being done. Like
Mm-hmm.
something to something, or there's always an addition to something. Like it's like y'all build it, y'all ain't even y'all just finished the science building. Like y'all ain't gonna start on something else. Like
Right. All right. So let's get to these questions. And so now first off, like I mentioned before, his stage name, his music name, it's Karowlina. And
yeah,
from the research that I did preparing for the episode, I saw that you're originally from North Carolina, right?
yep, Charlotte, North Carolina.
So
704.
so when did you move to Jersey?
I moved to Jersey when I was hold up, let's see. It's been a minute. I was 13. I was 13 when I moved up here. Yeah,
Okay. So like
yeah.
North Carolina, I'm gonna guess that it has like I guess it has like a huge impact on you since like you chose to make that your stage name. Like why'd you choose that to be your stage name?
Yeah, it's a bit of a story actually. Like when so I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. I moved here
Mhm.
when my parents split up, but my mom is originally from Jersey, and so I moved with her because of schooling and everything, like the opportunities for what I wanted to do career wise, film, entertainment. It was just better for me to come up here than to stay in North Carolina.
Mhm.
But the name Carolina came from, I with me going to school up here, high school. People would, my name's Anthony, so it was that's pretty common. It was a lot of us. It was a lot of Anthony's. And so this one guy used to be like, yo, what's up, South Carolina? And I'm like, don't ever play me like that. Cause I ain't from South Carolina. No disrespect to nobody that's from South Carolina.
Oh,
One
is there like a North and South Carolina beef?
yeah,
Like.
that's a real bruh. That's a real beef. And anybody that gonna try to
Is
comment
it like how Jersey be beefing, like North Jersey be beefing with South Jersey?
but it's worse because they're actually two different states. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's a lot worse. And I think we feel it even more in Charlotte, maybe because Charlotte sits on the top of North, like it sits on the bottom of North Carolina. So you can like literally work in Charlotte and live in South Carolina. Like the border is like maybe 15 minutes outside. It's south of the city.
Hmm.
It's not, Charlotte is almost in South Carolina, but the city, it's in North Carolina, but it sits right on top of it. So like, it's a real thing. But South Carolina, I ain't gonna, no slander to anybody, because I do got friends from South Carolina. I ain't gonna here and lie. And I've lived in South Carolina for a hot second, but I was a baby. I wasn't really in there like that. But basically, I'm not gonna get into the whole beef. I just didn't like that I was being associated with South Carolina because that ain't where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I mean, I wasn't like I would want him to call me North Carolina either. I'd much rather him just call me Anthony. But that's just how he that's how he identified me, because, it was a lot of Anthony. So he was like, he kept saying, "What's up, South Carolina?" And I'm like, "I'm from North Carolina." He's like, "Oh, what's up, North Carolina?" But then eventually I was like, "Bruh, you can just call me." And he was like, "Honestly, I don't know which Carolina you from, so I'm gonna just call you Carolina." I said, "Hey, that rock.
Hmm.
That worked. Yeah." That worked. And so that's where that, I didn't pick up the stage name then, but that's when the idea was in my head, when I was going through, when I started actually doing, like, putting my music out professionally. Because I was always like recording, but I was like, to put it out professionally. That's when I started thinking, all right, we got to go through some names. Because I went through some names and they wasn't really sticking the
Yeah,
way.
that's the hard part when when you want to start doing entertainment, like you gotta try to find a name that stick. Like longtime fans of mine will tell you I done went through like 30 different names. I went to Jameer Lionel because those are my two middle names. I went to like Jameer Lionel, then I went to just Tevin, then I went to King Lon, then I went to like I remember I had King Lon, but then King Von started popping off. So I'm like, all right, let me change that because that's a little too close. Then I became King Tevin, but then I
Wow.
was like, but then one day I was like, Tevin Jameer, like that sounds like a good stage name. And like
Yeah.
it's like a good name for like if I want to make music, but also it's a good name for if I just wanted to do YouTube, so like or filmmaking. So Tevin Jameer, that just stuck. So I know what you mean when you say like you go through millions of names before you find the one that like clicks like that.
And it's crazy. I was since you started going on the names. I guess I got to share some of the names that I went through. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
fun, go
let's
through a
go.
lot. I didn't go through a lot. I didn't go through a lot. I think when I first moved here, and there are some people I don't talk to them often, but a lot of my friends from middle school,
Mm-hmm.
because I only went to one, like half of like, okay, when I moved here, it was I finished the last half of 8th grade here. So I moved during my winter break. And so I started in August and got out in almost close to July. That was the longest year of school I was in.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it. Then it was snowing bad up here. I used to love snow. I moved here and it was snowing bad up.
Oh
From
yeah,
now
I
on,
don't even like snow no more.
I I hate it. I don't. And it was crazy in Charlotte. You snow here and there. We get 1 inch. We out of school.
Mm-hmm.
It's up here. It was like 3, 4, 5 inches. No, we still going to school. Like what? And then you got a shovel. What? Hey
Mm-mm.
yo, you're shoveling. We don't got
No,
a shovel.
I don't miss those days at all. No.
I'm like, dog, this ain't it. This ain't it. And I still hate the winters up here. I still very much hate the winters up here. So it's nothing has changed. But yeah, some of the some of the names. The first name when I first moved up here, when I started Instagram when I
Mm-hmm.
moved up here. And so my Instagram name was I'm AC Logan. And so I had this little thing where I used my first initial, middle initial, Logan. And so that
Mm-hmm.
became. Then I was on YouTube for a minute. I didn't really want to put that out there because I don't want nobody digging up no YouTube videos. I probably was saying some stuff that was out of pocket, doing some stuff that was out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Cringy material, right? But that was my name. So what happened was because that was my Instagram name and I had a YouTube channel at the time. When when uh when I just went to school, they would call me. Eventually, they stopped calling me in, call me AC Logan. Some people call me AC, 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 AC. I'm like, okay, all right. So
Mm-hmm.
once I got in high school, I was kind of removed from it, but there were still a few people that were still calling me that. I'm like, all right, this is breaking my nerves. And then I was all right. I got to start thinking about what I want for a music name. Then I went by Legacy. I went by Legacy for minute, and that didn't last long. I was, I was there maybe like the end of even like the end of high school going into college. That was kind of that legacy thing, and
Mm-hmm.
like I think once but by the time I released my first single. And I was recording by myself, like like a premiere studio by myself. That's when I went by Karowlina because the name it just clicked, and then I wanted to spell it in a way where it was different, like it was kind of influenced by like genuine, spelling the
Yeah.
genuine. I just thought that was like I was like I like that, you know what I'm saying? So let's kind of completely split the way that it's spelled, you know what I'm saying? And you can't you can still say it, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
can still so
And you speaking on like your first time in the studio and like releasing songs. So my next question actually was going to be about that. Like, what was the story of like you making your first song? Or actually, before we get into that, what was the first time you knew you wanted to sing?
Ooh, first time. Now, you know, it's crazy. When I was young,
Mm-hmm.
singing always, I didn't really give it attention until a certain age. But when I was like young, you know, I used to be like, I was like a full on entertainer. And still now, I'm still, that's what I'm trying to, I'm pushing and trying to work for it to be a full on entertainer. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's the goal, you know. And so when I first, you know, came into, you know, first it was acting. Someone was like, oh, you should be an actor. And I was like 5 because I had a big personality. My personality was so big. And it's still big now. I just kind of tame it a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very big. And it was not tamed. It was not tamed when I was young. It was not tamed. And, you know, so like that, I would tell stories. But also when I was telling stories, I found like that I was also like accompanying my stories with music. And like I would sing and I would mimic like what I would hear.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the time I can make up a song off the top of a dime. Like I remember my mom was telling me the first time we went to the beach, the whole entire ride to the beach I was singing. And when we were in the elevator, when we was there, I was just singing, I was just so happy. Just singing, like singing. And I was singing impromptu, like songs. I was singing in real time. Like I'm going on the elevator, like singing like that. Like it was annoying probably for like my brothers and my sisters. They was like, oh, okay, like shut up. Like, yeah, you know, because it was 9 years older than me. So I was like maybe 5. They was like 14,
Mm-hmm.
15, like teenagers, like shut up. Like it's so annoying. Like shut up. But that's how it was. Like it was just I was singing, you know, and I think because even though I wasn't like the only child, because I did have a brother and sister, I was raised as the youngest, but I also was raised as the only child too. Because there were some years where I just was the only child. You know, my sister was old, my brother was old, so I was in the house by myself. But, and then once the split up happened, I was really by myself. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to have a big imagination so I could create stories and film, but I would sing. And then by age, uh, by age like 11 or 12, you know, I had met this friend. Now, this friend is a friend that I had from high school. I mean, not from high school. A friend that I had since like preschool, but she was like a grade over, like over me. And so my
Mm-hmm.
mom and her friends, and so that's how we kind of naturally became friends. But she could sing her face off. Shout out to Angel. If you're watching this, Angel, shout out to you. That's my twin. She to this day, there's not many singers that can sing like that girl. That girl can sing her entire face off, and she can whistle. She has a whistle register like Mariah Carey. All facts.
Oh,
It
that's a
is.
bold claim now.
She can go on her page right now. If you like, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? She's dope. So you know, I was saying, but I never took it serious. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
during that time, around that same time, I'm a little all over the place. But during that same time, my mom had me in the church choir because you know I grew up in
See,
church.
I was waiting for that part. Every time you hear about somebody learning, you know, wanting to be a singer, you always hear the choir part. I
Yeah,
was waiting for it.
I did not want to be in the church choir. My mom put me in the church choir because one of her friend's sons was in the church choir, and I didn't like him. We was in the same grade, but she was like, "Well, you gonna be in the choir," and that was it. I was gonna be in the choir, so I was in the choir, and I was in tenor. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
but the choir director, she used to sing. I learned a lot. I didn't realize what I was learning, and still at this time, I wasn't singing was not what I wanted to do, like acting. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be next Denzel. Yeah. Stunting on the red carpet, like, what's up? Like, but you know, I didn't realize at the time the choir director, you know, this is North Carolina. So like there's a lot of music history in North Carolina. Like gospel, you know, you got Casey and JoJo that came out of North Carolina, like which is
Mm-hmm.
Jodeci. because you got, Devontae and Dalvin, Jodeci, you got Fantasia, you know what I'm saying? You got Shirley Caesar, um, you got Anthony Hamilton. You know what I'm
See,
saying? There's so many.
I didn't even know Anthony Hamilton came from
You
there.
it's, you know what I'm saying? There's so much rich music that come out of North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's just North Carolina. We're not even getting on South Carolina because the Carolinas in general. There's a lot of not even just music. There's a lot of great people. I mean, the greatest basketball player of all time. All right. Well, I'm not gonna say all right, but people do debate that.
I mean, people do debate it, but I mean, facts is facts. I mean, you see me rocking the.
I'm gonna have to go with my home state. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan. North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many great people, that came from the Carolinas, but basically, I was getting to the point. Again, I'm all over the place. I was I was going to the point. I don't even know how I'd be finding my way back to the point. But my choir director sang for John P. Key. I don't know if you know who John P. Key is, but John P. Key is big in gospel. He's big in the way we hear choir and music.
Like, I heard the name, but I don't think I've heard a song.
John P. Key, I'm gonna sing you some songs. You'd be like, okay, I've heard this. On it. If you listen to gospel, if your mom and dad, or you listen to gospel radio, you've heard.
Yeah, my mom used to be. You know how black moms be when you about to clean the house that morning, gospel playing. Yeah, I probably heard it.
John P. Key, in terms of like how choir music, he's as real as it comes. You know what I'm saying? Like he's as real as it's coming. I didn't really get it until now growing up because my choir director for the children's choir, this wasn't even like choir, this is children's choir. She sang with John P. Key.
Mm-hmm.
She knew him personally, had professional relationship, but knows him personally because she sang on his album. She's on his albums and everything. So a lot of the things that she taught us was directly from her working with John P. Key. But not just her working with John P. Key, her working with probably a bunch of people in gospel, and how it's important to take care of your voice. And most of us as children was like, oh, she's so strict. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't chew gum. We were acting up. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't know our parts, she would have us sit down. Like, you ain't gonna sing up there. Like, that's what she was. And there was so many kids like, you're so mean. But she was like real strict. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's how choir was. You know what I'm saying? She would sing our parts. And we would have to do our parts right. And so we were singing like, most children's choirs singing children's music. And from some time to time we would sing children's music, but we would sing like John P. Key songs. I remember us singing Jesus is Real. You ever heard Jesus is Real? Jesus is, I know the Lord is real to me. That's John P. Key. We had to sing that as kids. I'm like, who sings that as kids? How can children sing? We had to sing, oh, I know. Oh. Like we had to sing that.
So basically, y'all was just trained to be professionals at like a young age.
But she didn't, that's what she knew. And she still she was still like, she knew we were children, but she meant it. You know what I'm saying? She trained us, and I didn't realize that. And so over time, when she was giving us the tenor parts, I would know the part. And so I didn't realize I knew the part the way that I knew the part because she started giving me a handheld mic. Usually a lot of us, if you're sitting in the choir, you're going to be, the microphone is, you're going to be by around the mic stand. But she gave me the handheld to kind of guide the other tenors to follow the note. So I didn't know that's why she gave me the handheld mic. She gave me the handheld mic. In each section, soprano, alto, and tenor, there was somebody that had the handheld mic, other than the person that was obviously doing the solo, but to guide the other tenors or other people to follow notes because we were children. So if you had somebody that was there that was singing in pitch, singing in tune, the others would just follow suit. Genius. Shout out to Miss Sales. I don't know if she remembers me, but listen. I didn't really eventually, I think she was trying to push me to do a solo. I wasn't all the way there yet. I wasn't, and I think I left before that really could even happen. I got off the choir because I was like, I didn't want to do it anymore. It was just like, I didn't want to do it anymore. But that was training. And so in the midst of that, I became friends with that friend, Angel, I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
And we would hang out and we would like laugh. I'm just still now. I mean, she's married, she got kids, but that's just how we are. You know what I'm saying? That's like my twin. Like, we laugh, we talk about anything, but we would sing. And out of fun, like out of laughter. Like I would do it just to be funny. And she's like, no, she's like, she's only like a year older. She's like, you actually can sing. And I'm like, I can? Really? I didn't really think I could sing. I just knew I did it. I didn't know if I could even sing. Like, you could sing. Like, and that's the first time I was like, ooh, all right, I can do something here. And so as time went, listen, we weren't allowed to listen. Growing up, I was not allowed to listen to music that was not gospel. So there was which is crazy because there were moments where I did. I don't know where and how I did. Like there would be times where my dad would play something, but we still weren't allowed to listen to music that was secular. Like I was like, what? Like, but he would play the Isleys or James Taylor. Like, I'm like, that's a range. By the way, like James Taylor's, you know who James Taylor is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big range between the Isley brothers and James Taylor. And then, but growing up, I would listen to like, the people that came up. So I would listen to like contemporary gospel, like Mary, Dietrich Haddon, Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, you know what I'm saying? The Winans, Christian. All of these, like I would listen, that was what I really grew up on. And then it was like when I was like 12, my sister, she had her car, she would turn on the power stations and I would hear, Drake, and I would hear Beyonce, and I would hear, but she had this record. She put it in. This is where my life changed. You ready for it? She had this record. She put it in the CD player, and it was the intro to Chris Brown's first album.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
the self-titled is classic.
Yeah, when I heard that record, and like I don't know what song, where along the line, I was like, man, this is different. I'm like, I can do this. Like if I want to sing, it was the first thing. It was the first inkling that okay, I can probably do this, And so that's where it really began. And I started singing. And so I started taking it seriously, like I could be a singer, or to a certain degree. For a while, it was I'd be a gospel singer. That didn't work out. And not to say that I can't sing gospel, but that did not work out. Yeah, man. That's kind of how that started.
So what was the story behind like your first song, like the first one you ever released, like,
The first one I ever released. Oh, the first song I ever released. Now I had been smart because it was a software. I still use it now. I'm not gonna shout it out because they're not paying me. But it was a software where I would record on my phone. And I would record, they would have beats and I would sing on to the beats and create like songs. And granted, I sounded a hot ass mess. Right? Trash. Garbage. And if those records saw the light of day, I might just quit and retire.
No, bro. I know how you feel because I think I described my story in like another episode, so I'm gonna keep this story short. But like I remember when I first started rapping, I made this one mixtape called My Story, and like I remember I accidentally leaked it one day, and like kids from, I don't even know how kids from my high school found out I leaked it, but like they heard it and they said it was trash. And you know, you gotta have some type of confidence in yourself. So I was like, man, y'all just hating. I went back home, I listened to it back. I said, okay, yeah, let me get back in the studio.
Yeah,
Right. Yo, that mixtape is over here collecting virtual dust on all my hard drives. Like I will never release it. Like if I ever play it for someone, that's how they know I trust them for real.
no, that's real because it's not. Yeah, it's real. Listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. The first song that I recorded, I can't even remember. That's a good thing because I didn't put it out. I
Mhm.
didn't. Dude, I didn't put it out because I knew that there was some things I need to learn. And even after I was done doing that, I wasn't so basically I would record on my phone.
Mhm.
I didn't do it like project by project. I just did like singles, like songs, and I would just like play with the softwares, play with my voice, see what I can do, create harmonies, and trying to discover what my sound was. And even once I started putting stuff out, I was still discovering my sound.
Mhm.
Um, I was just I didn't know that I was really training myself to hear. Like I knew how to do harmony in real time because I said I have experience singing on a church in a children's choir, singing with friends. I knew how to, but I had to learn how to blend with myself, like in harmonies and melody. Songwriting was trash. Songwriting still it can be better, but it's not as trash as it was then. It was pretty bad then. And so yeah, I was really recording and then I also started doing covers.
Mhm.
Started doing covers, so I started learning from singing, songs that I like, pop songs, R&B songs, gospel songs, you name it. I was just doing anything. And then my first time actually recording a song, like professionally, it was for one of my friends. Shout out to Cheston. He goes by Big Han. He's a rapper. Um, he he had this mixtape and he wanted me to sing on it. And that's when he introduced me to, the studio that I go to. Um, and and that's when I started recording. And so I came back maybe like some months later. I was like 17 or 18. And then I recorded the song called Like That.
Mhm.
It's on SoundCloud. It's my first song I ever released. I didn't put it out on all platforms. I was smart. When I started recording, I said, once I said I'm gonna start putting stuff out, I'm gonna put this out on SoundCloud. I took baby steps. I didn't go all platforms right away. I said we're gonna polish this thing a little bit before we
Yeah.
shoot it off on all platforms. So Like That, and the inspiration behind it, there was this girl that I was kind of obsessed with, and she was with somebody, and I felt like that she could do better. And so that was
Oh,
Like
so
That.
you was coming straight like that. Okay.
Yeah, he ain't gonna love you like that. He ain't gonna do you like that. He ain't gonna love you like me. Like, I'm not gonna sing this song, but like he ain't gonna do you like me. You know what I'm saying? And truth to be told, he probably did her way better than me.
So from what I'm getting, you want some jagged edge, he can't love you type stuff.
Yeah, that's Like That was like you ain't gonna find another nigga that's gonna love you like that. Like it was very I was saying anything on the song, to be honest with you. And truth be told, it's a good song. Like lyrically, it's not too bad.
Mhm.
Sonically, sonically, I do cringe. I don't like hearing the song. But it's still on SoundCloud. I purposely leave it up on SoundCloud because I want people to hear my growth. I don't have a problem with people hearing my growth. And
Oh,
it's
now see,
garbage. It's not
see
garbage
with
and
oh no,
like act
sorry for
garbage.
cutting you. I was just gonna say like me, like you have that grace of like I guess people rock with you enough to hear your growth. I remember at one point I kept my old songs up so that people could hear my growth, but nah, like especially on YouTube, I started like privating my old songs because like people will hear it and they'll be like, yo, you're so ass. Like I'm not gonna, and I'd be telling them like, yo, listen to my new music. And they'll like, no, they'll just be like, you're so trash. I don't even want to hear your new stuff. So like, but I'm like, damn.
That's usually how it goes. I mean, like there's a lot of people that are not gonna believe in you. There are people that don't believe in me now. I mean, and I think I'm way more secure now because I know I'm cold.
Mm-hmm.
I have that I did at that time. Now let's be real. At that time when I recorded like that, I thought I was cold. I was not. There was my vocal placement was all over the place. The tone was just garbage. It wasn't it. It wasn't it. But the feeling, the vibes was still me. That's why I can leave it up and be like, okay. And then like when I started it, it's still I think my most popular song on SoundCloud. It's not like famous or anything, but it's my most popular song on SoundCloud. Today.
Mm-hmm.
To date, like it's still my most popular song on SoundCloud. So that's another reason why I didn't take it down. I'm like, it's and I thought about in time, I would go and re-record it the way that I would record it now. The way that I would record it now, it would be cold. It would be real it'd be tight. But it's not where I am right now. So I just kind of leave it as is. But yeah, that's the first song that's the first song that's the first song I put out.
It you kind of touched on it a little bit when you talked about like the CD that changed your life, but I was gonna ask you, who are your favorite like artists, basically like who's the artist that inspire you musically, and like who's your favorite artist?
So I have, let's see, there's three that I think about that have completely cultivated where I am right now. There are three specifically, but if I had to answer, probably 4 or 5 artists in particular. Number one, and this is number one, and especially now it's number one. Like where the music that I'm recording now and the trajectory, I think I said that right, of where I'm going, where I see myself. Not to say that I'm comparing myself to this person or anything, but I learn from this person. Masterclass number one, Michael Jackson. Michael
Of course.
Jackson. I can sit here and go on. This whole podcast can be about Michael's genius because I can break it down. Not a lot of people can.
I need you to meet my friend Josh, because whenever we talk about like the best singers of all time, Josh will go on and on and on about Michael Jackson, yo.
Michael is a master class, and I don't think people even really realize how much of a master. Because I mean, we see him as the greatest showman that ever lived, king of pop, rock, and soul. Mm-hmm. But outside of his stage presence, who he was, but also how he recorded was very, very, he was genius. Like the way his music was meshed, the way that his music was created, his vocal production. That's where I really studied the most from him, especially in my most recent records. They have been, Michael has been the blueprint forever. Even my aesthetic, the whole fro or the whole me feeling like I'm young and feeling like this whole vibe of music that I'm pushing out now. It's like I would be wrong if I did not have Michael's number one. And not to mention everybody that I grew up listening to. And not to say that I didn't grow up listening to Michael, because I did to a certain degree, but I didn't really get to really appreciate Michael until I was like into my like preteen, going into my like starting my teenage years. Not really like me as a young, but like as a young kid, it was obviously the Chris Browns and the Trace, these people, but specifically Chris Brown. His whole influence is Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna get on. That's number two. So I'm just gonna move along. Chris Brown is number two. His edge. And when I say his edge, I'm talking about his vocal, not even just his vocal, his production, his engineering, but his style is, I mean, obviously is reminiscent of Michael, but it's different. It has a bit of a hip hop flavor, it has a different
See, I need you to go off on this Chris Brown one, because I feel like people be disrespecting Chris Brown.
Brown now, and a lot of people say that his music back then is better than his music now. I argue different. I argue that his production now is better than his argument back then, his music back then. And here's why. Vocally, he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the music is classic. You know, it's classic, it's nostalgic, and it sounds good. His voice is amazing. But his production now is more indicative to who he is, his personality. He's very colorful. He's very, very versatile. So he can do, like, that's another thing. A lot of people criticize him for his music sounding the same. He has a sound. So, of course, you know, songs are going to sound the same. But he does all kinds of genres of music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But not to mention his production, the way that he layers, you know, the way that his voice, like, is very much a part of the beat. Much like Michael. When I was talking about Michael in production, Michael actually, like, I study Michael sessions. That's how much of I'm a student. I'm a student of, right? But I'm a student, like, I'm first and foremost a student of Michael Joseph Jackson. Like, there's no question. Like, I'm a fan, but I'm a student. Like, his vocal production, I listened to his sessions and how he would use his voice as a percussion. Like, you know, he used to say he's a slave to the rhythm. That was real. Not only physically, him dancing and him in complete syncopation with the beat and the tempo, but his voice, his ability to use his voice as a percussion, like those beatboxing and the breaths, even this, like, if you break down a song session, it don't matter what Michael's song you pick. He always used his voice as an instrument. There have been even times where he would use his voice to mimic, like, you know, a guitar or electric guitar. Like, that was Michael. Chris, man, his voice would be, he didn't really, I'm not gonna say he does it in a different way. I think his voice is really a part of the post-production. So, like, a lot of times he'll pitch his voice down. And you hear it almost like a part of the beat. Like,
see, now when you say that, this is probably like a fact that not a lot of people know about me. I always tell people, you know, if they ask me, that my favorite song of all time is Chris Brown's No Guidance. And the big reason, like, one of the biggest reasons why that song is my favorite song of all time is, like, what you just said, the production of it. Because, like, Chris Brown and Drake singing, like, you know, it's good, but, like, I feel like the production is, like, I don't know how to describe it. It feels atmospheric, and, like, it gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. And when you said, like, part of the post-production and how he plays with his voice, remember at like the end of the song when Drake is, like, doing his second verse and you hear Chris Brown in the background, like, I don't wanna, like, how he layering it and how it's like an echo going along with, like, the atmospheric, like, beat. I'm like, yo,
using his voice, sampling his voice.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, when people, it gives me that euphoric feeling. Like, that's what I love about it.
That's the thing. Chris sampled his own. He would sample his own voice. So a lot of times the engineer, I think Chris was, make no mistake, Chris has a lot of people that work with him, just like Michael has a lot of people that work with him. Obviously, Michael and Quincy Jones, but, like, Chris is very much a part of his creative process. You know what I'm saying? And how, especially when it comes to how it's produced. Because that's what makes a Chris Brown song. That's why people say, okay, his songs sound the same. Because it's a quality that he has that makes him him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, his production, the way that he would sample his own voice or use his voice as an instrument. That him sampling his own voice was kind of how he would assist with the beat of the production, the beat production. Michael would do that in real time. That's why people don't even see how that's an influence, right? But Michael would do that. Michael would do that in real time. Like he would, that was his using the percussion and like Michael, the way Michael's tone. Let me tell you something. First of all, he knew his harmonies like it was nobody's business. And that's going to bring me to this third person. I'm getting there. But
I think I know who it is.
but Michael's tone, the way he started the song was not how he ended the song. His tone was different throughout the entire song. There were even his stacks. Like many people don't. I'm nerding out, but even his stacks, because Michael was like a goat when it came to how he stacked. That's also going to bring me to this third person as well. The way that he stacked, like all his stacks, he would blend well. And not to mention, it was analog. There was no digital. He did that all in one take. And there were flaws. There were parts where he may have been pitchy, but it was a part of it. You felt it. Every mistake, every error was flawless. You see what I'm saying? Like it was real. It was raw. It was organic because it made Michael. That's how we know this is Michael Jackson. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every like we know, or that was his thing. You know what I'm saying? And like, but like when you strip his sessions, like when you like strip the whole song, like because producers have the sessions to certain songs, like Off the Wall and The Thriller. That Thriller session's crazy. Like you break, like when the producer owns a session, you're able to isolate the vocals. I'm trying to explain this so people don't know what sessions are.
Yeah.
It's like, when somebody goes to record the session, the producer has everything, the beat, the song, they have the
different track stems.
Yeah, the tracks, and even like sometimes they can have the instruments too, the drums. If they have the masters, usually they have the drums if they build it organically. And so because it was analog and a lot of the sessions and things were recorded on tape, it's very raw. Like, so you can hear everything, his laughter, the conversation that was going on before that is mind blowing. But you can hear like his tone and how his tone when he started was different from his tone how he ended. And much like, Michael, Chris Brown, new age, very different. I don't see why people compare the two. I mean, Michael is the GOAT. But Chris, I'd argue that Chris is probably the closest of our generation for sure. In terms of, now, I don't know people even really realize it because they don't know, they don't listen to his production. They don't really, when you listen to his production, you can see direct influences from Michael Jackson that are different from his peers. Because you have The Weeknd, who's amazing. I love The Weeknd. He's amazing. You got Bruno Mars. You got a lot of other people that have Michael isms. But I think Chris, in terms of like, that's the thing, But third person, Beyonce.
I knew it. I knew it.
Beyonce. And it wasn't always Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really get to really understand how great Beyonce was until I was older. And I say older, it's maybe 4 or 5 years. And as she's aged, her voice has gotten even more mature. And a lot of people, that's the thing, a lot of people like to debate if she's overrated. I think she's earned her spot. That's just how I think. I think she's one of the greatest show people of our time. I don't think it can be bigger than her right now. Seriously, I mean, in terms of like quality, in terms of just everything. I think she's a force of music. Like they call her the first lady of music. Like I believe that. Like she's solidified her spots. I don't like people calling her. And I ain't gonna sit here and try to be like a spokesperson for anybody. I ain't trying, but I can appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And I think with Beyonce's greatness, much like Michael Jackson, is her vocal production. And I think with her, I mean, obviously you can commend the fact that her stamina's crazy. Live. We can talk about her to a live show and that she is fine. She's married.
I do want to make a note though. Note that 2 of the 3 people that he said are Virgos. I'm a Virgo as well. And us Virgos, we are particular about our work. Michael Jackson, Beyonce, we are very particular about our work. So I know.
They all earth signs, I guess, because Chris is a Taurus. So there you go.
See, very closely associated. So yeah.
Like, but I mean, I think with Beyonce, I think with her, I like her harmonies and her stacks. If you've heard a Beyonce session, you might question if you can really sing. Because people like to say she's overrated, she can't sing. You listen to a Beyonce session. You listen to and the amount of stacks that she does, not even the way in which she does them, and the melodic choices she chooses. First of all, she's classically trained in opera, much like her influences, which is the greatest voice of all time, Whitney Houston. I'd argue she's the greatest voice of all time. There's no argument. Whitney Houston is the greatest voice of all time. I'm not going to have this debate with nobody. That is the greatest voice of all time. That's a side note, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I just want to put that out there so nobody get nothing mixed up, twisted. Whitney is the best voice that ever lived. You heard it here. All right, so B, you know what I'm saying? The way her production is different, Tevin. Like the way that she stacks her vocals, you know, the way that it's like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy the way that she's able to do all these. I mean, she can do runs and riffs, but her placement is like perfect. It's like the placement puts those runs and riffs. The way she blends the harmonies is crazy. It's crazy how she does that, and not to mention she does them where they make sense, much like Michael Jackson. And that's credit to Quincy Jones and some of the vocal producers that Michael Jackson worked with, because he was able to use the whole point of backgrounds is to emphasize what you're saying, what you're doing, and Beyonce does that very well. She could do it on any song. She could do it on songs that are not hers. You know what I'm saying? She could do them on rap songs. You know what I'm saying? She can be a song where everybody rapping on the entire song, and Beyonce come and hit you with those little oohs and ahs. But the scales, the way she know her scales, like the musical scales, and also fun fact, I ain't gonna, not to mention, like I'm nerding out here, but she can sing a Middle Eastern scale.
I mean, a Middle Eastern scale.
Yeah. So when people call Beyonce overrated, you name me a singer, a pop singer, who can sing on the Middle Eastern music scale.
Oh, are you talking about that recent performance that she did?
No, I mean like her, like it's all right. So you got the regular scale, like of music scale that we hear, like the way that we hear music, like major, minor, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the Middle Eastern scale, which is very different. Like it's them notes that be very in between.
Oh, okay. I'm getting what you're saying.
If you ever heard a Middle Eastern singer sing, like the scale is different. That's why the scale is different. And if you sing the way if you've been conditioned and trained classically, maybe you can do it, maybe not. If you've been conditioned to sing on the regular scale, maybe very difficult for you to try to sing on the Middle Eastern scale, because she can sing Middle. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I can try to demonstrate it, but I might sound crazy trying to do it, so I'm not gonna do it. But look it up. You know what I'm saying? And Prince was the one to put that out there, by the way. We hear it in songs. Like I can name you songs where she's done it. Like, oh, well, she did it in that recent performance too. So yeah, that's a good example with the drunken love thing. But all the song she did with Shakira.
Oh, Beautiful Liar.
Beautiful
I was
Liar.
literally listening to that this morning because I was listening to her first album this morning.
Naughty Girl. The Donna Summer sample. I love to love, baby. But it was
I know what
that.
song you're talking about, but damn, I don't know. I don't remember the name.
By the way, Scotch is cold. Scott Storch is
Scotch
cold.
Storch. Mm-hmm.
He is cold, man. But yeah.
Oh, wait. So while we're talking about like great singers and stuff like that, well, you pretty much said some of the people, like some of my favorite R&B, like, you know, singers or whatever. One that I definitely be trying to put people onto, and like hearing you talk about vocals and stuff like that. This guy is literally like, his vocals is why I love him so much. I want you to check out Quabs. You probably see me post him on my story, like, because I be trying to get people onto him. He's like a UK soul singer, and like, you know, I be trying to put people onto him, but like everybody I try to put on, they say he sounds too much like gospel, and I never noticed it until they said it. But I'm like, dang, like he actually does, like his music, you can tell there's a little gospel influence to it. But after this episode, I gotta send you his album, which pisses me off because he dropped one amazing album in 2015, and he said, "Yeah, y'all be all right." Like he never dropped any other album after that. I be waiting,
I
but
gotta check him out.
But his vocals is like, yo.
Crazy.
See, my thing is like vocally. I see what pisses me off about him is that, like I said, his first album is so good. I was like, if he was actually consistent and he kept dropping more albums, I feel like he would be up there like with the biggest names in R&B right now. Like that's what pissed me off about him.
I gotta hear him because now you set it up real nice. I gotta hear him because I don't think I've the name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've heard him.
The only song that I know that somewhat popped off out here was called Walk, and I think it was like on a FIFA game.
Oh.
Like that's his most popular song. But I'm gonna send you his album after we do this.
Cause I'm like, I've never heard of Quas. I'm gonna check him out. I can get on the music artists of today. There's some I can name some songs.
And actually that was something I was gonna ask you about. Like how do you feel about the current status of R&B? Because I feel like I hear a lot of mixed opinions on like how people feel about R&B. Like some people feel like they don't really talk about nothing no more. Some people feel like it's like hella dark. Like some people feel like they kind of missed like that 2000s, 90s R&B sound. Like how do you feel about it?
Well, I think it's changed like anything else. I think like a lot of it is kind of like you got to go and find it. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's dead. So a lot of people say it's dead. Like, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people say it's dead, but it's definitely changed. You got to kind of go look for it, and then I think it's in different spaces. Like you got to be, I don't know. Like you got to kind of be. I think with Spotify and with like Apple Music and all kinds of like YouTube playlists and stuff, you got to really look for what you're looking for. I don't think anything is going to stay the same. I think like it's easy to say 90s R&B is the best R&B. I argue it is. There's no debate about that. But a lot of 90s R&Bs were samples. Not even just R&B, but a lot of 90s music in general, like music now, are samples. You know what I'm saying? It's just how you use the sample and how you you cultivate it. And then also it was a style. It was a style. It was a style. And I think a lot of people now don't really know. It's kind of meshed. Everybody wants to kind of do the same thing, but you got to find the people like that are a little bit that stand out, and they do exist. They just don't get the label push. Sometimes they don't get the love and respect maybe that the people in the mainstream get. But I think everything changes. I wouldn't say R&B is dead. I think what's crazy?
What?
The irony is that the R&B is rhythm and blues. That's what R&B is. It's rhythm and blues. A lot of pop music now. What if I told you that a lot of pop music now is R&B?
I mean, that makes sense because, like, I remember seeing something where it was like pop music is just essentially what's popular at that time.
Yeah, it is. It's like, and I think what's popular now is like, I think here's the formula here, right? And I'm gonna cite Tank. Because Tank is, I listen to Tank and Jay. I'm plugging the podcast I listen to off R&B Money. Tank and Jay Valentine have this podcast called R&B Money, where they're the authorities of our R&B. I really just plugged their podcast, but shout out to Tank and Jay Valentine, man. They be talking. Tank has a really interesting point of view. You know what I'm saying? And it's solid. Like, I feel like a lot of the male R&B have kind of had to exist in a more rap space because no one wants to listen to a male singer, or should I say, nobody wants to pay money to listen to a male singer. They'd rather hear him rap and sing here and there. You see what I'm saying? So he has to, in order to survive, to get the play, he's kind of have to do things out of the box. And that's the thing that I'm trying to work through in my own artistry. We're gonna get to that. but that's the thing. I think with girls, I think now they're having a little bit more of a time here because you got Ari Lennox, you got Queen Naja, you got you got Coco Jones, you got who I'm like, I love Coco Jones. I'm so happy that she getting all the everything she should be getting because she sound like her record.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make that abundantly clear. She sound like her record. Coco Jones, you got Karowlina, you got Summer Walker.
Oh, especially Summer Walker. Yeah, like I love her music.
Right. You got all of these people. And I like them all. Like, I find out of all of them that I listen to, I listen more to, well, it's a mix. I mean, I don't listen to one or the other. Like, I listen to a mix. I do find that the one that really stands out to me, I do like Ari Lennox a lot. Like, her sound, she has this neo soul, almost like a Badu-esque thing going, but it's very not Badu. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's her.
I get it.
And her voice, her tone is different. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the casual. I think Summer Walker is different too. She has this little, thing. So it depends on what you're looking for. Somebody that I wasn't going to mention until a little bit later was I love the last interview I did. Someone said, if you could work with an artist, who would you work with? Victoria.
Oh, that was about to be one of my questions. I was going to ask, who would you work with?
Victoria Monet. Do you know Victoria Monet?
I know, I heard the name, but I'm trying to remember like what song she made.
Look her up. She is cold. Okay. Listen, if I could work with anybody right now, I would be like Victoria Monet. I've got 7th Streeter.
Oh yeah, 7th Streeter underrated.
Whew. I don't even know how I forgot her, but 7 has been doing the game, even when it was she been doing the game. But I want to say,
let me ask you this real quick. Say, all right, you about to make like a debut EP right now, and you can have like any 3 big names. Who are those 3?
Right now out?
Yeah.
Victoria Monet is definitely. First of all, can I give her a little bit more of her flowers? I
Go ahead.
I just gotta explain why. I do think the reason why I think she's different. One, I'm going to put you on because she she writes for Ariana Grande. A lot of Ariana Grande songs. That's first of all, they're best friends.
Yo,
Victoria
people don't know this, but I'm a big behind Ariana Grande fan.
If you're an Ariana Grande fan, you should know that Victoria Monet is her best friend.
Like, shoot, wait, let me show the camera real quick. Like, I literally got a poster of Ariana Grande.
Like, I'm telling you, I'm giving you facts. Victoria Monet is Ariana Grande's best friend. Their best friend. But Victoria is a monster. Okay. She wrote Thank You Next. Thank You Next.
Okay, yeah. That's already a banger.
That new Ariana Grande record, Victoria Monet's and Victoria's pen is all over.
Okay.
Victoria. But she released an EP called Jaguar, Part 1. And the way that Victoria Monet is she has a very soft voice, almost like reminiscent of like a Janet Jackson. But her style, she uses like real instruments. The horns, the way she put horns in her song, it's like she uses like this very like Silk Sonic sound, like 70s, but it's very modern, but it's very but it's very pop. She's cold. Her harmonies are cold. And she sounds like her record. Her stage presence is cold. She's cold, man. I'm trying to tell you. And she just had a song out. She just put a song out with Lucky Day. I know you like, you know.
I've heard of Lucky Day, yeah.
Victoria and Lucky Day are like, I like Lucky Day is another one. If we're talking about males, you know what I'm saying? He's incredible. Victoria Monet is different. But yeah, your question. What was your question? I just had
it was like if you had three artists to
work with,
like three major artists you could have on your EP now, who would it be? And we only got like 9 minutes left in the session, so
Victoria Monet will be one. I don't know. I think it would just have to be anybody that I would mesh, that I feel like would mesh. I think if I had
and you don't have to restrict it to just R&B. Like if you needed a rap feature,
yeah.
like,
I mean, that's what I was thinking. Actually, I wasn't. My first thought wasn't even R&B. Like it was like hip hop or like, I would like to hear a record like that. Victoria Monet is one. It changes from day to day, man. I don't even know. I don't even know, because I think it would just have to be organic. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have to be organic. Like I can hear my voice mess with a lot of people. Definitely, I think would be an Afrobeat artist though. I think it would. I definitely would want to collab with Wizkid for sure.
I was even thinking you were about to say Wizkid or Thames.
But no, Wizkid, Burna Boy.
I got to get more into Burna Boy because I keep hearing about him, but like I never like sat down and like listened.
Dog. I mean, we can get on to what I'm working on now, but I don't think it would. I don't think I would have anything to work from without them. Because they're influencing the type of music space I'm in right now, and the music space that I'm kind of going into, to be honest with you, because this is not just going to be a one-time thing. I'm about to be consistent with the type of music that I'm about to go into right now. But Wizkid is another one, and then I don't know, a rapper. I'm trying to think. You know who I think is cold?
Who?
We can sit here and go off. We're gonna say J. Cole. I can say J. Cole. I can say Kendrick. We can go there, right? Lola Brooke is cold.
Lola Brooke? Is she like a newer rapper?
Yes, Lola Brooke is cold.
Man, this is how y'all know I ain't been keeping up with rap like that. Like, what song did she make?
Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Okay, her. Yeah. I like that. I like that song.
The way I love her energy. It's very like she's very Brooklyn, but like she's like a Kim, Lil Kim meets Foxy. That's and that she actually from Brooklyn, and yeah, I'm just all I'm gonna say. Lola's fire. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that would be I would say Victoria Monet. Victoria would definitely have writing credit. I'm gonna need her pen. Because the pen game is different. She can, like I'm telling you, she can write some good songs. Victoria Monet, Kid, and Lola Brooke. That's gonna be my options for the album. That if I had a debut, even though that already came out, I do have a EP. But if I had to redo the debut, that would definitely be my 3. Yeah, no, you gotta get into Lola. Like I don't think she got a lot of stuff out. I think in time, you early. You on time.
Okay. So after this episode, you guys send me Lola. I gotta send you Quabs.
Right, and I gotta send you Victoria too.
Lola Victoria too. All right, so transitioning from music to film, because I know you also interested in film. I was really just gonna ask you, like, could you see yourself doing more like film projects in the future, and like what do you hope to do with film along with your music?
That's a good question. Like in terms of film, if we're going to talk about like right now, that's a space that I'm really trying. That's something I'm really working on, like trying to work on. First and foremost, mentally, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I mean, like much like music it's work, but like it's a lot of work trying to get, to get work. But I will say, I'm about to do a table read with one of my friends who has a film. So hopefully, everything works out with that. Like I got a role in one of his short films. Ultimately with film though, I want to be able to bring life to, these characters, not other than the fact that I want to be able to see characters that are different from me. I want to tell a story where, someone connects with it, much like my music. I want my music to not only get people to connect to it, but I want them to be able to see themselves in it, see themselves in the melody, see themselves in the script, see themselves in, the action, see themselves in the character. Because that's the work that I have to do when I'm as an actor. You have to find yourself in that character. That's what makes the character that's in one way, that's what makes the character not you, but you have to find things, seeing yourself in a character kind of has to that's what makes the character feel real when you're the outside watching the film.
Yeah.
That's, ultimately I'm trying to find, those long-term roles. That's what I'm looking for. I want to find something that tells a story, not the same story that we heard 1,000 times, but a story where people can not just connect to, see themselves in the story, and that, like I want to be a part of films that tell stories that progress, that kind of, or challenge the way people think, or,
See,
people.
It's perfect that you literally said that. It's perfect because I don't know if me and Al already told you, but I had like this script idea for a while. And see, I've been kind of lazy. I ain't even gonna lie. I've been kind of lazy, but I'm about to finish up the script. And like literally what you said about like, movies that make people think and challenge. That's kind of like my goal when I like write scripts for movies. Like I want to tell lessons, but I also want to make people think. And this is a script where I purposely wrote the story in a way where it kind of like fucks with people, where like you're thinking one way, but then a twist happens and it's like, oh damn. Like
Yeah.
that's what this was this whole time. So like, I don't know. I might have to get you to be somebody in my movie. Like, I still need a lead role. So
Now I'm working. Like it's funny because I was at Rowan last week and I was talking to one of my professors who I have to email and follow up with talking to him. One of my old professors, but he was my professor my last semester for this acting for the camera class. His name is Professor Jonathan Mason. Shout out to you. Man, that class was wow. It probably was the best class of my entire 4 years at that school. The way that we worked hands-on with the camera and like, breaking down these characters. I saw acting from a whole different lens, literally. Literally, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was different. It was different. It was different. And so yeah, man, I'm down. Right now, I'm taking any type of role I can get. I was talking long term. Right now, like I'm taking any role I can get. Listen, I'll be the thug. All right. I'll be the I'll be the thug. Like, I mean, I will.
Hey, I got a sympathetic thug.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be, I'll do that. Like, but I mean, like, because I need experience, more experience. Like I've been on film sets and stuff, but like to actually be like in it, and be, like being like a pivotal part of the film, it's like, yeah.
And see, it's interesting like hearing this from you because like the only other like filmmakers or like people within film that I had on the podcast, of course, Al, he's more behind the camera guy. And then I have my cousin Tony on, which I got to connect you with him because, he's big in filmmaking, but he also is a rapper and like he's big in music too. So I got to connect you with him. But like, yeah, most of the people I talk to, they mostly are on like a, behind the scenes type thing. Like it's interesting hearing it from you since like you are an actor, so like you're in front of the camera, so it is interesting hearing your point of view on being an actor.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like a lot of the work that I was doing when I was at Rowan was a lot of it was behind the camera. So I was doing like I was a production assistant a lot of the times. I was, sound mixer, you know what I'm saying, boom operator. Like I know how it's supposed to go. Like I know like how that's and when I was talking to the professor the other day, I was just telling him like, what space I'm in right now, post grad, having a 9 to 5 job that I'm not, that I know that I want to do, that I know I'm not going to do forever. I know it's temporary and it's just like, but it's hard trying to focus on like music and like the things and film and he's like, but it's not going to get easier. He said, "This is how it's going to be. You kind of have to just work with what you got, kind of just really commit to it." But he was like, "You got to do it in baby steps, and just try to think about small term goals before you really try to think about the long term goal. Like, think about the long term goal, like know where you want to be, but try to do it step by step first before you can really, because it kind of makes it more digestible for yourself." If you have a small term goal, and then just work from there.
See, I feel like that. I feel like that's something I really need to hear because, like,
yeah,
definitely now that we're done school, I don't know how your experiences is,
yeah,
but it's like once you're done school, it's just like I don't know. It's almost like you got some type of fatigue where, like, okay, you finally get to relax, but then at the same time, like, you also got to put in the work to get to where you want to be at. So,
yeah.
like,
It's
yeah.
after the conversation. What you just said to me is exactly what I said to him almost a week ago, last Friday or last Thursday. It was last Friday. Last Friday, I had this conversation with him, and that's exactly what he told me. What I just said is exactly that's why what you just said. I needed to hear. That's exactly what I was like. Oh my God, I needed to hear that. Yeah, I got his email. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna hook me. He's gonna connect me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, if you're in the area, make an effort to come down here. You know, I help you, you know, build your profile and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause we were talking about backstage, talking about like things for acting. And then I have, it's fortunate because I have resources. I have friends. I have a lot of friends that are in film. So I have no excuse.
Hey, that's the one advice that I always heard, like make connections. So
I have a friend that owns a film production company. So I have no, and then, you know, Al is another one that just be working. He got a camera. Seth, you know, Seth has always been kind of a filmmaker as well. Because even in high school, you know, that hasn't been his like big thing, but that he's always like, you know, I've been in the Seth film. So I don't know. That's where I met Al for the first time.
Yeah.
That's where I met Al for the first time. Through Seth. So
yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you, like on a filmmaking level. Now I know you're an actor, but would you ever think about like writing scripts and directing someday?
Directing is hard. It is very hard. And that was something that we did in that acting for the camera class. I got a new lens for that. Because
that's what directing is what I want to do, and I already know, like,
when you're directing an actor, one of the things that we learned, first of all, you got to be comfortable telling people what to do. But it's how you tell them what to do. When you're a director, most people put emphasis on you telling them what to do. But the emphasis is not on you telling them what to do. The emphasis is more on how you tell them and when you tell them.
Yeah.
I was like, dog, like, I don't know if you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to give, for example, he was breaking down, like, one of the major points in that class I remember is that you don't want to give an actor, when you give an actor direction, you don't want to tell them how to feel. So you don't want to direct an emotion. You don't say, okay, I need you to look sad. That's not a good direction. That's not how that works. Wrong. What you do is you tell them to do something that would warrant them to be sad. So ask them, what is something in their life that made them sad? Okay, I need you to do that. I need you to use that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of telling them to be sad, tell them to do something that may make them sad. You see what I'm saying?
Like evoke that emotion out of them.
But you gotta be quick. You gotta be quick. So I remember him doing this. Somebody was doing the scene, and this girl had to direct him. He was doing the precious scene. So you already know there was a lot of drama there.
Yeah.
But she had to repeat the same line. You know what I'm saying? So you have usually in the scene, as an actor has an objective. So they have a super objective, but they have to have the things to achieve that objective or that ultimate goal. To dumb it down for the viewers, the ultimate, because I know I'm a nerd. The ultimate goal, there's tactics, there's ways you gotta do it, and those tactics are usually action. They're verbs. So like, she was like, I need you to say this line, but your goal is to get her to hug you. Now it's hard when the line is like, you know, I love lunch. Not the precious scene. But you have to, there are exercises where we had to do, like, say lines like, I have lunch, or, you know, what's for lunch, and you have to say it with an objective in mind. And whatever tactic you use is like, you can charm the person, you can flirt with the person, you could annoy the person, you could, there have to be actions, things that you would do to get the person to react the way that you. Not me giving y'all an acting 101 class right now. And I'm here's saying, I'm like, so in my head, as I can't direct, because then you got to be quick on your feet, like, you got to think fast. Like, so I'm the baby steps. I feel like I could. That was a long answer. But the script scripting, I think about that often. I think I can do that. I can do that. Scripting, because I'm screenwriting. I've been really trying to get myself back in that space to really write a script, because I know I can do it. But it's time and it's inspiration you gotta have, and you know what I'm saying. That's more feasible than directing. I commend anybody that wants to, like, you want to direct. I commend you. You got it.
See,
You got
now me, like, you know, I did like directing like little things for class or whatever, but like when I make this short film with Al, this is gonna be like my first time like actually really trying to direct. So I am a little nervous, but also with me, I already know the type of person I am. Like, you know how we were talking about Beyonce and Michael Jackson. They're like
perfection.
us Virgos. When we have an idea in our heads, like we're trying to execute it, and people might not understand the idea in our head until like you know what I mean, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I've seen videos where Beyonce is like setting up a stage or whatever, and like everybody in the
Right.
room don't know what she's trying to achieve, and she's like, do this, like do it like this, and once they finally get what she's looking for, she's like there, like that, like
Yeah.
I feel like that's the type of person I'm gonna be, and I feel like people is either gonna hate or love me. Like I
But
feel
that's
like I'm,
that's not
huh?
their job. You don't, and that's what I'm learning now. You don't be apologetic for that. You
Mm-hmm.
perfect, get it perfect. Because ain't nobody gonna want it as bad as you. Do not. I used to be so sorry. Now see, you remember we talking about zodiac signs.
Yeah.
My sign is a Cancer. So I'm much like Beyonce's sister Solange. I'm a march to beat of my own drum. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm more like a 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are, you know what I'm saying? I'm more like a Kevin Hart. Like, that's those are the type of Missy Elliott. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's like Cancer. Like, that's, she's like the way, like a creative mind. That's me. Like, outside of the box. When they going right, we go left. We don't care what you thinking. It's gonna be perfect because we did it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and because you haven't seen it like this. Like, you got to be able to flip whatever it is on this, you know, axis, like to make it completely different. So I get that. I get that. I mean, I respect that. Like, I respect that, because if who else is gonna want it to be right, man?
I feel like I feel like I'm gonna walk in that step. I mean, walk in that set like I'm Kanye or something. Like,
And another great mind. You know what I'm saying? When
mm-hmm.
it comes to directing and
And see that's the funny thing, because I remember one of my favorite songs from Kanye is Slow Jams, and I remember hearing the story about like how he was making slow jams, and Jamie Foxx like heard the way that Kanye wanted him to do the hook, and he's like, "This ain't gonna sound good," and
yeah,
Kanye's like, "Just do it, trust me, just do it," and like, hey, it wound up
that's how,
being on one of the most classic albums of all time.
yeah. Listen. Gay is a when it comes to production, he's outside of the box. You know, very much a Gemini. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, very much like Pac, who was also on that Five People, by the way. Pac was
Oh yeah,
another.
if y'all couldn't tell already from his shirt.
All right. Pac, the last two that I didn't mention were Tupac and Aaliyah, for different reasons.
Oh yeah, I should have expected that, because I remember we talked about that.
Those two for different reasons. Pac obviously was, you know, a revolutionary. Among that's really, I mean, like, not only was his lyrical, the way his delivery was like crazy, and he was poetic, and he was smart and intellectual. Like, he was nerd out. The way I'm talking to you right now is the way he would probably talk on the, like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be on some
Mm-hmm.
hood shit, but it'd be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be, he would be intellectual. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how he is. And then I think with Aaliyah, it's even more of a bit of a connection a little bit, because I feel like, you know, the amount of, she was like a full, she was really a full on entertainer. Like, the way that
Mm-hmm.
she the way that she was like, her style was very unique. You could see her music by what she wore. Her voice, like even like her vocal, like when I think of people styling at the age that she was, like being able to sing soft on a hip hop beat. Come on now. That's she we talking about innovating like music right now. We talking about R&B, spinning back on this, going back into the music thing. We talking about influence, that whole whisper, soft voice. I'll leave a minute that. I mean, Janet Jackson and Sade, big influences, but Aaliyah was different. She was different. And she was singing all this soft stuff with Timbaland, with the who putting crickets on the beat. That's crazy. That's still crazy to me. But like, I mean, like that whole era, you know what I'm saying? Like you could see their music. You know what I'm saying? You could visually see what they wore, like what Tupac wore and what like the Versace, and I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about Death Row Pac. The Versace shirts and the glasses and you know what I'm saying? But or before that, the overalls or like the, with Aaliyah, obviously her style is different with the bang and the two-piece Tommy Hilfiger. Everybody got their whole the shades, like everybody had their own style and it matched their sound too on top of it. And you know what I'm saying? And it's no different in film. Like I feel like Spike Lee has his own style as a director. Jordan Peele has his own style as a director. Like
now that you started naming directors, I kind of want to ask you, who are like some of your favorite directors?
I don't really know.
Really?
I really don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, like, there's a lot of good movies out there. There have been no-name directors that have done really great stuff. Like they first work was like, we got this off the ground. It's an independent film, and the film slaps. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like obviously people that name, I think they're good. Jordan Peele. I would want to work with Jordan Peele.
Me too. Jordan Peele, I would say, is definitely my favorite director, like of modern directing.
Bit of a comedic thing, but he makes sure you're very much a part of the process. And I funny enough, I know somebody that worked on a film with Sanaa Lathan.
My wifey.
A TV show. They did work with Sanaa Lathan. Sanaa Lathan was the director. I heard she was phenomenal. She was very strict. She didn't play about her stuff. You know what I'm saying? She was, but they said she was great too. I know somebody that also was on the show with Halle Berry. It's another thing. Don't ask me how I got these connects, all right? Just these are great people. Like some actors have been turned directors too. I think another good
that was another thing I was gonna mention too, like on like talking about directors. Like I was gonna say Ryan Coogler, because like I've been recently binging the Creed movies so that I could get to Creed 3. And another great actor turned director, definitely Michael B. Jordan, because Creed 3, I would say definitely my favorite movie of the year so far.
It's crazy. I think Michael B. Jordan is, he's really grown. You know what I'm saying? Like as an actor, it's like his range is starting to really show more as the more he's doing. And so I think Michael B. Jordan is, and my battery's dying. But oh no. Still here?
Yeah, if your battery's about to die, I could just hurry up and ask you the last two.
No, it's cool. The charge is right here. But yeah. No, like I feel like his range is real cool. And then on top of that, like I also think Jonathan Majors was also.
Oh, Jonathan, I'm not gonna lie. See,
Jonathan Majors, that's a bit of a hot topic right now. But that aside.
Oh no, I was gonna say Jonathan Majors,
crazy.
I was gonna say he ain't been on my radar for that long, because like I'm more like I'm a Marvel fan. I don't care. I'll debate with anybody about like these recent phases because I don't think it's as bad as people say. But when I saw him in Ant-Man Quantumania, like the movie was decent, but when he got in it, like when Kang finally got introduced, that movie went way
Yeah.
better. And then Creed 3, I'm like, all right, like Jonathan Majors is now on my radar. Like if I see him in a movie, I'm about to go watch it.
There's a movie called The Harder They Fall on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It's a black cowboy. Regina King is in it. First of all, Regina King.
Oh yeah, Regina King.
Regina King in it. Zazie Beetz is in it. The girl that played I want to say Domino in Deadpool. She's in it. Jonathan Majors is the hero. Idris Elba is the villain.
Oh, see, I think I told you before that Idris is like my favorite actor ever.
You got to watch that movie. It's on Netflix right now. It's called The Harder They Fall. It came out a couple years ago, and it's about black, like it's based on black cowboys, so it's a true story. I mean, the story is kind of not true, but the characters are they were very real. It was like the original cowboys. Let's be clear. A lot of cowboys, we've been whitewashed. A lot of them are black. They were black. And so these are the real cowboys, and they created the story out of it. And it's really good. And the score, you would think in most, what do you think? In most cowboy and Western movies, you think of like, you know, the sound, the score is usually like, you know, Western or like country type of music.
Yeah.
The Harder They Fall, you know what type of genre of music they use to score this? And it was crazy. You would
Electric?
Reggae.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Reggae.
See, because when you were saying like I wouldn't think it, I'm like, okay, the most outlandish thing I can think is electric, but like
reggae is what they used. And when you watch, you be like, oh, and it fits so well. You would be like, wow, it's you gotta see it. It's on Netflix right now. It's good. And I think they're making another one. You know, I'm gonna leave that alone. But I need them to make another one. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna need them to make another one. I'm hoping they make another one. I hope it's already been made. You know, I do. I'm gonna just leave that alone. I will say though, I do think this is, like I said, in terms of acting, I think, you know, Jonathan Majors is top tier, and you know, I really hope everything everything works out. You know what I'm
yeah, that situation is crazy. All I'm gonna say is, look, I ain't gonna put too much out there. All I'm gonna say
I don't want this to go viral. You know what I'm saying? So
all I'm gonna say is that if he really did do it, then you fumbled the biggest bag you could have in the film industry, because like you are Kang the Conqueror and Marvel. Like
no, and he went to school for film. Like he went to school for acting. So he's a like, in terms of acting, he can outact just about all of his peers.
Yeah.
And I do mean all of them. So take that. So I really hope, because he's really like, he was, man. I'm gonna just leave that one there. I really do hope what they're saying ain't true. I do. I really do.
I really do. But the one thing I told my friend was like, you know, even if they prove that he didn't do it, like this is gonna be a stain on his career.
Yes. And that's and historically that's a thing too. I ain't gonna go there, but like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Some historically, you know, they have been. Nah, I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna leave that one there. Y'all know what I'm about to say. Listen, I ain't trying to do this.
Yeah, we know.
I ain't trying to be PC, but come on now. You know what I'm thinking. I just hope,
Oh,
seriously, I just hope he don't, I hope everything is not true.
we're down to our last 10 minutes, so I'm gonna hurry up and just ask you these last two
All right, rapid
questions.
fire.
Um, one of the things I wanted to know is like what's like your long-term goals for the future, musically, filmmaking wise, like what's your long-term goals?
I I want to change the world with my music. I know a lot of people say that, but the way that I want to change the world, I want to be able to connect with not just people, but with, or should I say, this may sound strange, but I want children to have representation. Like, I want them to be able to see me. Like, I want them to have a superhero. Not to say that I'm a superhero or that I'm, anything like crazy right now. I just want them to be able to see that it's tangible and that they can do it. That sounds like that's
No,
that's
I get that because I
right.
say that about like me with filmmaking. Like I like the movies I want to direct, like not just making people think and like challenging their minds, but also I just want to put a lot of black people on when I become a director and whatever. And like I want to give like, you know, black kids like, actors and like people they can look up to. So
Yeah.
I can get what you're saying.
I just want them to not even just like putting people on. I mean, like just being able to make. I want them to be able to feel seen,
Hmm.
like visible, right? And that's where That's what I'm trying to work towards. This music. I want it to because I know that I have the power to do it. You know what I'm saying? I know that I have the power. I'm really walking into that now. It's like I know I'm I. I know that I'm not all the way, like everybody else. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that I'm better than everybody else. I'm definitely not saying that. There are some cold people out here. I am not trying to compete with nobody out here, man. I'm really just trying to do me. You know what I'm saying? And do me well. Like and hope other people connect with it. You know what I'm saying? In terms of music, like briefly, like I'm trying to I'm in a space now where I want people to be able to um, feel. When I say feel, like feel the rhythm. I want them to be able to, like, I'm not. I used to say I want to create feel good music. Yeah, but the music that I'm doing, I want it to be able to. I want it to be a kind of force of nature. Like I want the trees. When I play some of the records that I got that's about to come out, I want if you play them outside, I want the trees to be swaying like this.
See, now that basically goes into my last question. What's like what should we expect coming like soon? Like album, just
An
singles, like what should we
album
expect?
for sure. An album for sure. This body of work has been a process. Um, I have some songs. I have a couple songs out now. I have the start of it was "Kiss Me Slow." That was where
Hmm.
I kind of tiptoed a little in Afro. I call it Afro pop R&B. Like it's a gumbo, but it's authentically me. I'm not trying to be anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And I think my voice, the reason why I'm continuing to do it is because I think my voice it sounds different on it. Like for most, and I think that goes back a little bit to what we're talking about R&B. You like
Hmm.
trying to, if you have to be able to survive. And I think for me, it's not about surviving. I think because I love Afrobeat and I love R&B and I love pop, Afro is pop right now. And then my voice just sounds, it's a perfect storm.
Hmm.
It's literally a perfect storm for me right now. So I'm taking chances, taking risks, using cadences of my voice that I've never used. But for some reason, when I hear these records like "Kiss Me Slow," the record that came out with this past summer, and then "Delusional" at the top of this year, these records are different. You know what I'm saying? They're like they're a Carolina record. If you've heard my record, you hear R&B, but you hear, you know, the influences of Afrobeat. And not to say that's why I can never say that I'm an Afrobeat artist, because I have respect for the actual Wiz Kids, the Burna Boys, the Fire Boys, the T.Y. Savage, because I love Afrobeat. I've been listening to Afrobeat for about 5 years. But I ain't trying to be them. You know, they're very much influences on what I'm doing. But I want part of it is appreciation. But it's just my voice it feels right. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels right. And the music that I'm doing right now just feels right. It's like it's different. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, I don't think anyone's really heard my voice like this. Because it's interesting, because when I was doing like just contemporary traditional R&B, which my first EP is mainly that, which I still love, which, you know what I'm saying, that's fine. Like, people gravitated to it. People gravitated to it and said, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this. Bro, when I came out with Kiss Me Slow, some people around me was like, yo, this is, your voice it moves a little different on the Afro beat pocket. It's just a little different. And I think that's because it's just, I don't know if it's my tone, it just fits better on it. I don't know. I don't want to go into detail about what specifics is going into this album, but I'm very excited. And I'm trying to get it out.
So real quick, is there a time frame we should be expecting this, like over the summer?
Yeah, the goal is to get this out in the summer. What's going to happen very soon though? I gotta plug this in real quick. So exclusive. I don't know when this is coming out.
Well, I'm gonna try to have it out by Friday or Saturday. So okay, exclusive.
Not that soon. We're in April, so which I got to submit the record. I'm about to be a part of a compilation album for Rowan Music Group. I got a record.
We got an exclusive.
You got an exclusive. And it will be a snippet of what you'll be hearing on this album. Like you've heard, I have singles out already that are on all platforms, like Kiss Me Slow and Delusional. Go get those. But this record that I put in this compilation album, I delve into it a little bit more. And it feels like me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in a space where it feels like me, like I'm doing, like I know what I'm doing. It's a bit unorthodox, because I know a lot of people jump on trends and trying to do it, but it doesn't feel like a trend. It just feels like what I'm doing is right. I'm making it authentically me. I'm not trying to use pigeon, you know, like, because I'm not from Lagos. So I'm not going to be trying to be like a whiz kid, but I have so much appreciation for Afrobeat, just like they have appreciation for R&B. So it goes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to I don't want nobody thinking I'm appropriating here. but you know what I'm saying? It just feels good. And so that's what to expect this month. So stay, and I mean, like, I would give a date, but I don't want to give a date and they ain't put the date out yet. But this single is going to be on a new single, brand new. It's going to be on a compilation album on I'm said today, in this month. And then I might, you know, personally drop it on all platforms shortly after.
Yeah, I'm sorry to like cut you off, but we have less than a minute. So
that was it.
Okay. Good. Well, damn, it doesn't even show you the timer when you have less than a minute. But thank you guys for listening to the Hate It or Love It podcast. Thank you again, Anthony, for being on.
Thank you for having me on here. We finally made it happen.
Finally. But all right, before this cuts off, y'all already know, check out new episodes on the way. Anthony, thank you again for being on.
Appreciate it.
With all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out.
Yes, sir.